Hey, sports porchers, it's your hockey Jesus. And I'm back with analysis of the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. Tonight on the Isle, the Pittsburgh Penguins took on the New York Islanders in a must-win game for both teams, really. And I'll tell you what, this game was a signature win for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's right, the Pittsburgh Penguins won tonight 8-3, and I can tell you that it wasn't it was not easy. The first period, first of all, let's give it to Dan Muse. Dan Muse shook up the lines tonight. Sidney Crosby was back, and he could have done the easy thing. He could have easily just put Sid on the line with Rax and Rusty and just let the first line roll. But you know what he said? Nope, we're not doing that. We're not the old Penguins. We're the new Penguins. So he puts Chinny on the first and leaves Rax on the second, center of the line with Brazeau and Mantha. And my goodness, what a brilliant move that was for him tonight. Good to see you. Sports Porch in the house. I know that's got to be you, Senior Calvin, TD. What a great win for the Pens tonight. I'm telling you. And then, of course, he must have been listening to the Hockey Jesus, because I said I thought Avery Hayes would fit in well on the fourth line. Well, he didn't put him on the fourth line, but he put him on the third line. And I tell you what, that was just as good, because Avery Hayes brings some energy that Koivunen or McGroarty just don't bring. And honestly, he's a better goal scorer too. I just love this move. I mean, he brought him up and, it just boom, right in. He gets a goal tonight, and just great moves by Dan Muse. But it was not easy. The first period was here. And in the first period, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders skated to a 0-0 tie, which I was pretty happy about, because I was doing the show with TD earlier this evening. That was their first time there was a 0-0 score for the Pittsburgh Penguins since Vancouver. And that's, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I can find it here on the schedule. That's how long ago it was. It was a long time ago that we were back in Vancouver, sometime in January, I think. Yeah, long time before the Pittsburgh Penguins were 0-0. So, you know what? Didn't matter, because the second period came along, and then the Islanders said, we're going to take over this game. And they did. They scored on the power play. They made it. They basically just started to dominate. Anders Lee scored that goal. And then Matthew Barzal. It was disappointing, because the third line was on that Barzal goal. And then the first line jumped on, and then suddenly Barzal's going the other way and scoring a goal. I didn't like the way the first line was playing initially. I didn't think that first line, honestly, tonight had a great game either. But the way Muse set up the lines, the New York Islanders couldn't stick with all four lines. Yeah, they probably did a pretty good job against the first line. I know they got a garbage goal there at the end, the first line did, but I love what they did. But you know what? Barzal scored, and then Soderblom just got kind of a garbage goal, which we'll take. We'll take any goal just to get back into it. So that made it 2-1. And then Schenn scores on. I didn't think it was a great goal. Terrible goal for Sheloff to get up. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to have to win tonight. Goalie plays garbage again. It's 3-1. That was with about half the game left. And then New York Islanders go to a power play. And wouldn't you know it, the first time in 12, 16, 17 years, however long Ricky Rax has been in the league, he gets his first shorthanded goal in his career on a great feed from Brian Rust. See, that's what happens when you got guys that are out. You got other guys that got to step it up. And you know what? Just a great outlet pass, and he buries it. And that honestly was the catalyst for them getting back. Shea scores after that. Mantha scores after that twice. And before you know it, the Pittsburgh Penguins are up 5-3 going into the third. Now, even with the 5-3 lead, the Pittsburgh Penguins have been known in the third period to give up 2-goal leads. It's absolutely true. I've seen it too much. So, I know Borky was in between periods basically just saying, hey, you haven't won anything yet. And he's right. They didn't win anything yet. But in the third period, with 6 minutes in, that's when Ben Kindle just says, you know what? I'm going to make a play. And he takes it to the net, gets his own rebound, kicks it back out to the front, and Avery Hayes is right there to bury it. That was the dagger right there. You go up 3 goals, already 5 minutes in. The key is to survive the first 5 minutes in the third period, and they did that actually very well. I think they're starting to learn from those games where they blew it, like going back in the Wayback Machine to that Ducks game where they blew that 4-goal lead at one point. And just good for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They didn't stop. Raquel gets a goal. Russ gets a goal in the third period. That made it 8. 7 straight goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins just to make a signature win for them. And you know what? They didn't do it. They didn't do it on the power play. They only had 1 power play. They gave up a power play goal. So their penalty kill wasn't great. But the 5-on-5 play tonight was absolutely the key. Let's look at some of the stats by some of the guys. Let's see. Looks like Mantha was a +4 with 3 points. Brazeau was a +3. Raquel was a +3. There's that line. He put that line together, and that line was a +10, and they had 8 points tonight. That's all you need to know about the Pittsburgh Penguins right now. When Muse makes changes, these boys react to it in a very positive way, and I just can't say enough good things about what is going on when that happens. Woo! What a great win for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm just thrilled. Before I said if the Pittsburgh Penguins win in regulation, that jumps their projection to 83%, making the playoffs. Now, need I remind you that the Duke Blue Devils were 98% of the way there in their game against UConn, and you know how it ended. So anything can happen. So what I'm going to encourage you, my fans, my brethren, me being the Hockey Jesus, you know who I am. I'm the Hockey Jesus. I'm here on the sports porch after every single Pittsburgh Penguins game. That's right. Every single Pittsburgh Penguins game. And you hit that subscribe button. You hit that bell. I'm coming right into your sofa. I'm coming in your living room right after the game. I'm going to give it the way I give it because I'm just a fan and I just see it like I see it. And I love the game of hockey. So that's why I'm doing it for you. And that's why I love this game of hockey. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, this is what I want to finish with tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins still need 10 points, okay? We need 5 more wins or 10 points. We'll take 5 wins. They got 8 games left, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 games. 8 games left. It's hard counting after a big win. But yeah, 8 games left for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And so can you get 5 wins out of those 8? I think you can. I think the Pittsburgh Penguins are up to it. They have done such a great job this year of just not letting the slide go too far. They did a little there. 2 games in a row they lost, and now they've won 2 out of 3. That's the way you do it. So Pittsburgh Penguins stand at 90 points. They're 37-37 on the season and looking good to make the playoffs. They play tomorrow. I'll be there. I hope you're there at PPG Arena. Let's just eat a whole bunch of hot dogs and enjoy the game tomorrow. Let's hope that we can make it 2 in a row. Beating Detroit. We beat Detroit. Then we're off to Tampa Bay. And then we got a whole bunch of people who aren't making the playoffs after that. So I'm your Hockey Jesus. I'm here for you. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.